Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. So now let's talk silver. Folks, first things first, massive giveaway coming up. The entry video is live. Go enter, click one button to win a tube of Eagles and some other stuff. That button is subscribe. Links in the description. May the luckiest stacker win. Also, if you wanted to purchase some silver, hit up Miles Franklin. Send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Slayer sent you, help you out. Very respected company, great prices. And yeah, so right now, silver's price is still continuing this downtrend. We're about to break below $23, and I want to go over what's happening. So in this video, we're going to cover a couple different articles. First one's more of the chart analysis, and then we're going to be looking at something a little more insightful, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think this is going to continue to drop? Why? And also, I would love for you guys to let me know in the comment section if you're purchasing silver right now, and also what types of silver you are buying and why. I put together a great video. I'm excited to see what you guys have to say right now. I'm purchasing Eagles personally, but let me know what you're buying. Is it generics? Is it 10-ounce bars? What is it? So let's go over this chart analysis first, just kind of warm up things, and then we'll get into some deeper stuff. So price analysis. Silver prints 7-day downtrend as $22.60 lures bears. A lot of people, and this is why I love making videos like this, is because a lot of people are probably getting a little hesitant, a little on the fence, maybe second guessing themselves, maybe getting cold feet. You got to understand what silver's true value is, what makes it valuable. It's not the price tag attached to it, folks. It's the 1 ounce inside of it. And that, for the medium and long term, will outshine, pun intended, any type of fiat-based system, as we know this system is going into the ground, right? Inevitably going to collapse, and gold and silver will be standing. Like I always say, silver stackers will get the last laugh. So silver price remains depressed at lowest levels in 2 weeks. Clear downbeat break of 200 EMA bearish MACD signals direct silver sellers towards 6-month-old rising support line. Multiple hurdles stand tall to challenge silver price recovery, even as RSI conditions suggest limited downside room. That's pretty interesting. So silver's price dropped for the 7th consecutive day, while fading the previous day's corrective bounce off a 2-week low by declining to $23.10 early Thursday morning. Right now we're at $23, so it's still dropping. In doing so, the bright metal justifies the bearish MACD signals and a clear downside break of the 200 daily exponential moving average, or the EMA. In addition to the technical signals, the market's downbeat sentiment and the broadly firmer US dollar also keep silver sellers hopeful, right? And that does make sense. It's kind of what I was talking about. And, you know, if you look at the macro instead of the micro, you know, this type of stuff doesn't phase us at all. True silver stackers, at least, we just say, hey, we get silver on a discount right now. Let's take advantage of it. However, the RSI line is below 50 and suggests bottom picking of the commodity, which in turn highlights an ascending support line from early March close to $22.60 as the key level to watch for the bears. It's worth noting that precious metals' failure to rebound from $22.60 will make it vulnerable to test 1-year-long rising trend line close to $22.10, quickly followed by the $22 threshold. Now, what are they talking about? A lot of this is actually psychological, right? I went to college for psychology, and a lot of this makes a lot of sense, right? Because psychology is basing things off of perception, and how you perceive things is going to influence the way you invest. Just like I always say, if you're someone who's very finicky, always, thinking the worst case scenario, always, trying to figure out which direction to go, and just very, anxious. Someone comparing that to someone else who's very cool, calm, collect, steps back, looks at things realistically. Which one of those two people do you think is going to be more successful? The cool, calm, and collect person, right? And a lot of people, they start, and that's why it's called panic selling and impulse buying. right? You're making impulsive, irrational decisions. And that's why I say invest with your head, not your heart. And when you're in that moment, you might do something silly. And that's also why I say be prepared. What price are you going to sell at? Do you know? Have you ever thought about that? Are you ever going to sell? You ever thought about that? What price are you saying, hey, this is good enough, I'm going to throw in the towel, collect my earnings? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about where you're going to sell? Are you going to sell to your local coin shop? Or are you going to sell online? Have you ever thought about that? Right? This is stuff a lot of people don't think about. And you got to, because then when silver does hit $100, you're in a position like, oh, should I sell? And if you have that price in your head, maybe it's $200, maybe it's $500, whatever it is, that will help you. And even emergency silver supply. Do you have some silver if something terrible happens? Hopefully doesn't, but let's say like something happens and you have to sell some. Have you ever thought about what type of silver you're going to let go? Because in that moment, you might not be thinking rationally because something just happened, whether it's medical bills or whatever the case is. You should have, and I recommend this, some silver that you say, okay, I'm willing to let this go if I had to sell any of my stack. Hopefully you guys don't, though. So anyways, they're talking about $20.60, and that's the support line right now. Support is what silver's price is trying to stay above. Resistance is what it's trying to break above. $50 resistance is massive. If it breaks above 50, it'll probably hit 100. And that's because silver hit $50 in 1980 and 2011. So if it broke past 50, it's the all-time high. A lot of hype's going to get around it. Everyone's going to be buying it. It's going to skyrocket. And same thing goes for the support. If it breaks below $22.60, it's probably going to go to $22.10. And then if it breaks below $22, that psychological $21 price is going to scare people. Just like if it breaks below $20, we'd probably see $17, $18, and that's because it's in the teens. Just like at the store, they're going to price something $19.99 instead of $20. That 1 penny makes a difference because $19.99 looks a lot cheaper than $20 just from a psychological standpoint, even though it's just 1 penny. That's why stores do that. So in case where the silver price remains bearish past $22, the odds of witnessing a gradual downside towards March lows of around $19.90 can't be ruled out. During the likely fall, the 50% and 61%, actually, let me stop right there. Do you guys think silver will ever go back to $18, $19? Do you guys think that? I really want you guys to answer that because I'm curious. I always say I never think we're going to see $19 silver anymore, but we're living in crazy times, so expect crazy things to happen. And if it is, it would be just for the short. I'm not saying like in 5 years silver's still going to be $19. I'm saying right now, do you think it could reach that? It could drop to that level. And what would be the scenario? Probably have to do something with the dollar index, right? But regardless, I don't think that's possible. I mean, it's definitely possible. I just don't think it will happen. I think there's a lot of support. I think a lot of people, if it did drop that low, would be buying. And I think, like even with the chart right here, I feel like this is probably around the bottom, in my opinion. So if you were looking to take advantage of cheaper prices, maybe stay tuned for the next couple of days. Obviously, we're heading into the weekend, so you have to wait till Monday. But maybe just see if it is bottoming out and then take advantage, or if it's going to keep dropping, then just maybe hold on and see what happens over the next week, and then you could take advantage of even lower prices. Alternatively, a daily closing beyond the 200 EMA level of $23.25 isn't an open invitation to the silver buyers, as multiple levels around $24 and $24.20 may test the silver price recovery before highlighting the key resistance line stretched from May close to $24.70 at the latest. So here's the chart. You can see it still is if you step back, it still is gradually going upwards, and that's actually a good thing because then it builds, it's the price is stabilizing. If it would have just went up right here where the cursor is, it would have crashed and took years to recover. Let's say it went all the way up to $50 from this rally. It would crash because there's no stability. See how it's going up and down? That means there's price stability. It's building the price gradually going up so it stays up there. So let's check out this article. It was written yesterday talking about silver prices forecast, silver undermined by soaring U.S. yields. So first we looked at the charts and kind of looked at what's going on behind the scenes, and now let's see what's going on in the economy, which is affecting silver's price. These are the highlights. Silver hits a low unseen since August 23rd, challenged by the rising U.S. dollar. The dollar's 6-month peak is aligned with a surge in U.S. Treasury yields. Growing apprehensions over China's economic health are pressuring global markets. U.S. dollar's rise pressures precious metals. Silver prices experienced a significant downturn on Wednesday, reaching their lowest since August 23rd. This drop coincides with the U.S. dollar approaching a 6-month high and a surge in U.S. Treasury yields. The prevailing sentiment suggests an ongoing demand for high interest rates, largely fueled by concerns surrounding China's economic status and the worldwide growth. Consequently, silver, similar to gold, becomes less accessible for those holding foreign currencies. Market concerns amidst economic indicators. As trading resumed post-Labor Day, all eyes turned to the mounting U.S. Treasury yields. Notably, oil prices are on an uptrend trajectory, rekindling fears of the $100 benchmark. Oil prices and silver prices are very closely correlated, so pay attention to that as well. Wall Street is apprehensive, predicting stocks will find it challenging to outpace treasuries. The backdrop to this market tension is last Friday's non-farm payrolls report, which indicated a peak in unemployment rate since early 2022 and declining hourly earnings, causing a shift in investors' view on inflation and Federal Reserve policies. It's just so crazy how so much of silver's price is still intertwined with speculation. If you guys watch my channel for any length of time, you guys know I hate that S word, which is speculation. It should be based more off the fundamentals, supply and demand. Since it is physical, it's tangible, it has intrinsic value within itself. Like I always say, no matter who says that 1 ounce coin is worth what is irrelevant, because the coin's value is the 1 ounce inside of it, not the price tag attached to it, not spot price. Spot price is irrelevant because we're basing silver's price on this day and time off of a dollar that's lost 98% of its purchasing power and is going to continue losing value. So that 1 ounce of silver is going to stay 1 ounce. But that dollar, that $23, isn't going to stay $23. So in light of recent economic indicators, including a cooling labor market, the impending Federal Reserve policy meeting is generating buzz. Most market pundits, informed by Governor Christopher Waller's remarks, predict no changes in interest rates. As of now, the CME FedWatch tool signals 93% likelihood of rates remaining constant. Speculation also surrounds that S word, also surrounds the potential for additional tightening later in the year, contingent on forthcoming economic data. And then they go over global business decline and U.S. dollar's ascendance. They go over the technical analysis, even go over a cautionary tale, just talking more about robust dollar forecasts, a bearish short-term future for silver. Short-term, like I was saying, increased opportunity costs associated with the retaining unyielding silver in conjunction with impending policy shifts cement a gloomy prediction for this precious metal. So they're saying there's potential that it keeps going downwards as it looks, but doesn't mean it's going to stay. And I really hope people understand that. If you're new to silver stacking, if you've never seen silver's price really correct, which is funny that a correction means it's going back down, but that's actually the correct thing to do. You never want it to just go up, up, up. Like Bitcoin in 2016, 2017, it went from $1,000 to $16,000 within a couple months. And that's why it crashed and took years and years to recover, because that was extreme overbought territory. It needed to correct. And if it would have gradually gone up, it would have stayed up there. But it didn't. And the same thing if we're talking about $50 silver, it needs to gradually go up there. If we're talking about $100 silver, it needs to gradually take place. And that's why a lot of people are thinking silver's a get-rich-quick scheme. And I tell them, unfortunately, that's just not the case. Go to something else, because silver is a long haul, right? We're long haulers. We're not planning on selling anytime soon. You ever thought about that as well when you're planning on selling? What price you're going to sell at? Where you're going to sell? You know, selling is something that is extremely underlooked. I try to make a lot of videos about selling because the more you're prepared, the more successful. It would be terrible if you spent all this money, all this time watching videos and stacking and putting your hard-earned money into this, and then you flop because you just weren't prepared to sell, right? It was just because you messed up, not silver's price. It's just you didn't know how to sell correctly. And it can be a big thing, right? I'm not going to go into it because it's a whole separate video. I just will put in one remark. I'll never forget this. A guy emailed me saying, Slayer, I wish I would have thought about this sooner. He was planning on selling a lot of his stack. He was older. He's retiring. And he said, you know, I wish I would have thought about how big of a task it is to sell. Got to think about this. If you have thousands of ounces and you're going to sell online, you have to take all these eBay pictures, let's say 1,000 ounces, and it's 3 to 4 pictures. That's 4,000 pictures you got to take on your phone, then send to your email and upload it to eBay, and then that's 1,000 descriptions you got to type out, the weight, denomination, all that, and then you're going to have to package all those, and you got to deal with customers and all that. It can be a full-time job, right? And that's also why I say make an eBay page right now and start selling like 1 ounce a month or 1 ounce every couple months, so you build buyer ratings. Because if you think you're just going to put your stack on there overnight and sell it, you're going to be sadly mistaken. Because are you going to buy from someone who made their account yesterday with no sell? No. But if you build right now, in 5-10 years, you will have lots of seller ratings, look very legitimate, and it's a way to slowly put your stack online instead of trying to do it all at once. I'm not saying you have to sell yet, you know, but if you just sell 1 ounce every 6 months or you know, that will benefit you in the long term. I'm not going to go into that as a whole separate video, but I would like to know what you guys think. Make sure you guys go subscribe if you want a chance to win silver. Entry videos live. If you want to purchase from Miles Franklin, make sure to send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys soon. Peace.